Hey guys, welcome to Sassy Southern Home. I'm Christine. If you're new here or if you've watched before but you haven't already hit that subscribe button, please smash that subscribe button. It keeps me able to bring you content from week to week. I do post weekly, so hit that notification bell so that you will know when I post. You'll get an alert as to when a new post is up. Anyhow, this week I'm so excited about because these are going to be items that are going to stay in my home. One room or another for a long time, they're going to be in my home because these are decor pieces that I've searched through Pottery Barn and West Elm and found my favorites, and then items that I knew I could dupe as well. So these are going to be art pieces and decor that are going to stay in my home. So I hope you find one that you'll like to try. They're not that hard, so just keep watching the video because you never know. Don't stop watching. You never know when you might miss something other and you might really like that project. Anyhow, I appreciate you guys for tuning in. At the beginning of each project, I will show you where I got the idea from. I'll show you a picture of the item, the dimensions of the item, and the price as of this week when I checked online. And then we'll get into the projects, and I'll show you at the end of each one of those what the finished project looks like. But I hope you enjoy. Thank you so much for tuning in. Keep those likes coming in. Keep some nice comments coming in and some suggestions because I will use them. If there's any future projects you want to see, just let me know. We got summer coming up. We got spring coming up. So there's a lot of different things that I can have ideas to do in. So I appreciate any ideas. But thank you again for watching, and let's get crafting, guys. I had been wanting to do one of these for a while. So we're going to do this textured study canvas is what they call it at Pottery Barn. So we're going to use our spackling, and that was so fun opening that top. But anyhow, we're going to use our spackling, and I got a 16 by 20 canvas, and I'm just going to use some of my art, my painting art knives. So just cover the canvas real good, and then when I got through covering all of the canvas, then I went back and just randomly added some raised texture effects to this. There's no rhyme or reason for this. You can make designs if you wanted to in it, but the one from Pottery Barn looked fairly random, so we're going to do ours very random and just completely cover the whole canvas. And these art knives do work great. You might could use a butter knife or a spatula, but these did seem to work great. And you'll see I'm just putting swirls in there, and then I'm going back and adding extra raised and kind of leaving it raised in places, but just make sure from edge to edge that you're going to cover it. And I am going to put this in a frame, so my sides are going to be completely covered. So I'm going to let this dry, and I'm pretty sure I let this dry for 2 days just to make sure that it was completely dry. Now, I love using for any project, whether I am actually spackling drywall or whatever, but I like to use the pink because it turns white when it's dry. And so you're just going to wait for it to turn completely white when it's dry, and then you can see I'm just kind of, and then I just kind of thought through this process, what I kind of wanted these raised edges to look like, but I'm not creating any kind of design. I've seen some that were, I'm not sure how they did them. It's kind of like an imprint of flowers and leaves. I'm not sure how they got that effect. I might try that sometime later on, but ours are just going to be random raised, and then like I said, set it up for it. Mine took 2 days, probably because the raised edges were pretty thick, so it did take a complete 2 days. So here we are dry. Pick your paint. Now they left theirs the white creamy color, but I wanted to kind of do an ombre effect, using colors that I use in my house. So I did white first, and then I had a lighter blue and a darker blue. And when I want to phase into the colors, what I did was mix that color with a little bit of the white to make it not quite that shade, and then go into the just all of the blues, and then the same way with the darker blue. And I try to just stipple this into every little crevice. It was a little hard to do, and I didn't mind where a little bit of the spackling actually showed. So I wasn't looking for full coverage, but you can certainly do a full coverage version, or just kind of, put it in there as best you can, and then just let some of it show through. So I'm not a perfectionist when it comes to that. I think art is beautiful when it's not as thought out and perfect. So anyhow, here's our, and I got this frame from my local Hobby Lobby is having clearance on several frames for their canvases. Well, any kind of photo frame really. So I grabbed this up for like $7.50. So here is my art piece. Next project is using pampas grass. Now they said shadow box, but I just found a frame in my house that I'm not going to use this picture. And y'all, I'm pretty sure this is home interiors from back in the day. Some of y'all know what home interiors was. We all had it in our house. So anyhow, I'm just going to remove all of this backing. I'm not going to do anything to the picture because you never know when I might want to use this picture again for whatever reason. I love hummingbirds. It just doesn't fit decor anymore, but you never know when that's going to change. Everything comes back around, they say, in a couple decades, so whatever. But I'm not going to bother with the picture. All I'm going to do is use the back of the picture, and then I'm just going to flip it over, use the back, and I am going to paint that white. I only did one good coverage coat with chalk paint, because I really didn't care that it was all sleek and shiny and perfect. So, and I also painted my frame. Now, I know a lot of people like gold, and I do like gold too, but I really didn't think gold went with the pampas grass that well. So anyhow, I'm going to paint it chalk paint. And good thing about paint is you can always paint back over it. So if I get tired of the white, I can go back gold or black or whatever color I want. But I'm just going to do white. And I'm not going to do a solid coverage on the frame either. So I'm going to let some of it show. That's why I'm using this fluffy brush, because I'm just going to put it on there and then let some of it show. I didn't mind some of the gold showing, and I only did one coat. So depending on your coverage, you may want to do 2 coats. And then, like I said, I am just going to simply take the back of that picture and I'm going to paint it white as well. And I did just 1 coat on it. It was kind of hard getting out. Home interiors, they meant business when they put these things in those frames. It's kind of hard getting that out. So you see the edges are a little bit frayed. It's going back in the frame, so it's not really going to matter. It's going to be covered. So I really wasn't worried about that. And yeah, boy, I'm just shaking that camera. So here's my little pampas grass. And I got this off of Amazon. It came in a larger set of some like cattails and all. And I'm using those. And so I picked 4 pieces. And what I did was take a little bit of jute twine just to hold them together and wrap that around it, hot glued it. And then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to lay it out on my frame, because I wanted the edges of it going out each way, just so it would have that fan effect. So I had to work with it a little bit, because some of them went out and some of them just kind of were more straight up, no matter how much I fluffed and played with them. So take my jute twine, like I said, wrap it. Actually, I think I did the sisal twine. Anyhow, jute or sisal, whichever. But that worked to hold it down. And then once I got to hot gluing, do a thin bead of hot glue, because you don't want the hot glue really showing. And I did put a little bit on the pampas grass leaves, I guess you'll call them. I'm not sure. Just a little bit on them to fan it out like I wanted to. So I'm just going to play with it stretch it out like I want to, and I did hot glue the stems down. I did leave a little bit more room at the bottom than the top when you'll see my finished project, but I was kind of thinking I might go back and fill that in with something other else, so that's why I did that. But you could certainly even it out a little bit more, but here is my finished project. And eventually I think this is going to live in my sunroom, but right now it's just hanging up in my craft room. Now my next one was this little bird. I'm not sure what kind of bird this was supposed to be, but it's Pottery Barn, and he's just sitting on a little wooden stand. So I searched everywhere for a little bird, and I finally ended up with this one. He looks more like a little fat wren to me, or chickadee maybe, but anyhow, I found him at Marshall's. I had picked one up at Hobby Lobby, but he was a little bit more cartoonish looking, so I like this one, but I didn't want him blue, but I didn't really want him black neither, so I went for a gold, and I sprayed him 2 coats, and I did light coats, so there is a little bit of that blue showing through, but I liked it that way. I didn't want the full coverage look on it, so, you know, to your liking, whichever way you want it. And then I found just a spare block of wood, and this happened to be a block of landscape timber that we had left over from gardening. And it's dark already. I'm just going to clean it up. I'm going to sand it because it was a little rough. We had cut it for some other project outside. Yeah, and there I go with my table again. So I'm just going to sand it up, and then I am going to use my gel stain. And I just did 1 coat for it because it was already dark. So I really wasn't looking for coverage. More so I wanted the top of that to match more of the sides. So that's why I'm doing this gel stain. So just 1 coat of it, and that turned out enough coverage for that. So when I finish this up, so I've got to secure him to my block of wood. So I am going to use a combination of E6000 and super glue. I'm not sure if this super glue came from Dollar Tree or Dollar General, but I hate working with super glue. I should use the gel. This liquid, I get it all over my fingers. It's been a couple of days, and I still can feel it all over my hands. Anyhow, I got it everywhere, but the combination of the two did work. I did have to hold him down for just a little bit, but he is fairly solid on there. And you can see it's just little thin little feet that he's got, but he is solid on there. And then once I had him down, I kind of took the super glue and ran around the edges as well. So just to get a secure hold. I thought about using some type of staples or whatever, but this did work in the end, so I was happy with that. So I'm just going to finish him up and let him dry, and then our finished project, he is absolutely adorable. I love him. Like I say, these projects I will be using in my home quite regularly. So he will be sitting out definitely probably through spring, summer. I do like him. So the block of wood, you don't have to have it as tall, whatever. You could use a 4x4 block. The landscape timber just happened to work, and he's adorable, and don't mind me back there in the mirror. Haha, that's funny. Our last project is making a marble vase. Now, I've seen somebody else do this, so I really wanted to try it. And it was fun, and it did work. I had my doubts. It did work. I'm not sure what I'm doing this whole video segment with this daggum camera, but anyhow. This vase was from when my husband gave me flowers for Valentine's Day. So I'm reusing what I have on hand. But you can certainly buy a vase from Dollar Tree, Dollar General, you know, wherever. But most people have vases on hand. So I'm going to use my chalk paint, and I am going to paint it for 2 coats, and I did paint a little inside the lip as well. So when that is dry, what you're going to do is you're going to use this sea glass paint Krylon, and it's in ice, and I couldn't find it in my Hobby Lobby. They had other colors, could not find the silver ice is what they call it, so I had to order it from Amazon. Put your water in your container, and it doesn't have to be real deep, just enough to dip your object in there. Take and spray a thin coat of that Krylon on top of the water. So you can see it goes on really good at first, and then you don't have coverage. So what you're going to have to do is take a paper towel, dip it in the water, and get that skim of that paint off of the top. I tried just keep doing layers of paint in there, and that didn't work. Get that whole layer off of the top so that your water's clean, and then spray it again. And I was doing this inside. I about choked myself, but anyhow, I know better than that. But it was a nasty day, and I was not going outside. And then take your, so you can see me skimming the surface with the paper towel. And you want to take every once in a while and kind of wipe down your vase too. And if it's too thick of a veining for what you like, just take your paper towel while it's wet and run that down there to thin it out. But what you're going to end up with is a marble effect. Now, I did have to come back around the top, I guess because I kept dipping that in and out the water, and put some more paint inside the top and a little bit on the bottom too. I'm not sure if that's just where it was just set up or whatever, but I did have to paint a little bit more. And y'all, look at this. This is spectacular. This is so pretty. And the picture is not going to do it any justice, and I'm trying to get up close just to show you, but this is so pretty. Y'all have got to try this project. Thank you so much for watching. Keep tuning in for more videos. Bye, guys.